Welcome back to Valiant Media. I'm Dallin Cooper, and today we're going to be telling another sheep story. This story takes place back when I was about 10 and we had a bunch of sheep having babies in the middle of winter. We had quite a few babies at this time, little lambs running around with their tiny high-pitched baas, so cute. And we had a ewe, or female sheep, that was having babies one evening. So sheep usually have twins, and she had already had one lamb and he was doing amazing. Unfortunately, when the second lamb was born, he was born dead. It's a sad reality of life and it always was heartbreaking, but sometimes they didn't make it. It wasn't anything we could have done, he was just stillborn. And then my dad, who knew way more about sheep than I did something really weird. He bent down and picked up the dead lamb by its back legs. Then he grabbed some straw and started messing with the lamb's face. And then he just started swinging it around. Just like an absolute maniac, just swinging this lamb around. And all I could think was, what? Why? Why are you doing this to me, to this lamb, to this poor mom? And his other hand was doing something weird with the straw. And that was the moment. I knew my dad had completely lost it. Every marble gone. What do you do when you're 10 and your dad starts swinging dead baby animals around his head? Just before I decided I needed to call 911 or at the very least go get my mom, my dad reaches down from the still dangling baby lamb and grabs at its face a little. And the lamb coughs, takes in a big deep breath, and starts baaing like his life depends on it. Whatever weird voodoo my dad had just done had somehow brought this lamb back to life, or so it appeared to 10-year-old me. And at this point my dad explained what was going on to me. What he had realized is that that lamb had been born with water in his lungs. Since he acted so quickly, he was able to swing the lamb around and force the water out to the edge of his mouth, much like you do if you swing a bucket and can keep the water in it. The force pushed the water out of the lamb's lungs and up through its mouth, where it was then able to cough it up and breathe again. What I thought was my dad losing his mind and maybe turning to some weird voodoo witchcraft was actually just a very smart person doing what needed done. So what's the gospel application? For me, the thing that pops immediately to mind when I think about this experience is Isaiah 55:8, which says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord." Just like my father in the story, our Father in heaven understands things better than we do. Sometimes we have valid questions. Questions like, why is this happening to me? And just like young 10-year-old Dallin, we look at our circumstances where our life is just being swung around by its back legs, right on the verge of death, and we think, how is this helping? Is this really necessary? But God has a greater vision, and thank goodness that He does. If we had listened to me with my limited perspective instead of my father that day, that lamb would have died. Sometimes the things that happen to us will feel just as random, sporadic, and honestly, kind of insane as what my father was doing to that poor little lamb. So the next time you see something in your own or someone else's life that makes you think, this couldn't possibly be part of the plan. What good could possibly come from this? Just remember some random shepherd guy that you've never met, hunched in a shed, swinging a seemingly dead lamb around by its legs to save its life. And remember that just maybe, there's a good shepherd out there who knows a little bit more about saving lambs than you do. And even though the method may seem shocking from our limited perspective, He knows what He's doing, and it is all for our good. Hopefully that somewhat ridiculous and maybe a little inspiring mental image will help you to stay valiant.